Live pictures now of a forest fire that's growing out of control near Lake Tahoe. Will bring you the very latest. A man is missing after two fishing boats collide in Stockton, and NASCAR speeds into Northern California. We're live from the track. Good evening. I'm Pamela Wu. Kevin Riggs has the night off. KCRA 3 reports at 5 and high definition starts now.
You're watching KCRA 3 HD, where the news comes first. Now, KCRA 3 reports at 5 in high definition.
We begin with breaking news out of El Dorado County. A forest fire is burning in South Lake Tahoe near North Upper Truckee Road. One look at this fire and you can tell it is a big one. These are live pictures from the Skycam 3 network. Officials are calling this a large wind-driven timber fire at 50-plus acres. Now, fire crews were dispatched about 2.5 hours ago. Ground crews are fighting this fire. Aircraft were sent in, but they had to turn back because of the high winds. We understand that 12 structures have been burned now, and highways 50 and 89 are seeing closures. KCRA 3's John Hamilton is above the fire in Live Copter 3 HD with more. John?
Well, Pamela, this fire, I just actually spoke with Air Attack on the fire, and they have been able to get some of these air tankers back in the area. Look at from our pictures. We're still on the west side of the crest here, and you can see that this fire has now grown to over 350 acres, Pamela. Right now, CAL FIRE, U.S. Forest Service, and other agencies are involved. They have 2 air attack planes on scene, 1 lead plane, 6 heavy air tankers, 1 jump plane, 2 helicopters, and 6 other helicopters are en route. Now, that's just the air resources attacking this fire. Again, as you said, it is a very hot fire driven by hot, dry winds. Winds down on the surface are gusting over 30 to 40 miles an hour, we've been told. 16 to 18 up here up above. And John, pan over to the right a little bit, and you're going to see some very heavy black smoke, Pamela. That tells me that there's a lot of brush involved with this fire, possibly even some homes. Unfortunately, Pamela, we do know that 12 structures have been lost in this fire. It is burning in a very heavily recreated area right around the Angora Ridge Road. There are many more structures threatened, and let's just hope that they can get this turned around and get it slowed down very quickly, because right now, Pamela, it doesn't look like they're even getting a handle on this fire.
And we've been told, too, John, as you mentioned, 350 acres. At last check, when we checked, it was about 50-plus acres. So this fire seems to have just exploded. What more can you tell us about the terrain?
Well, the terrain is very steep, Pamela. If you're used to driving over Highway 50 into Lake Tahoe, now this is almost from the crest of the Sierra back down towards the airport and the city of Tahoe, right around Fallen Leaf Lake. So it's kind of flat in that area, a lot of pine trees and other brush in the area. But boy, when you get over towards the west side of the Sierra, when you get along the ridge, it's very, very steep. And that's going to add fuel to the fire, and it's also going to allow the fire to create its own wind and just burst right up to the top of the ridge here. Now, one thing, Pamela, if it does do that, you can tell by we're actually above the tree line up here, so if it does come straight up the hill, and if they can get fire lines both on the south and north side of the fire, they may be able to put it under control. But unfortunately, Pamela, right now, the winds are blowing embers over the fire lines, and they're seeing spot fires well away from the main fire. And again, as you said, initial reports at 2:15 were 50 acres. What is it? A little after 5, and we're well plus of 350.
That's right. Definitely a very fast-moving fire. John Hamilton in Live Copter 3 HD, thank you very much for that perspective from the air. We want to mention to you that this Angora fire, as it's being called because it's near Angora Ridge, is burning in very heavy fuel, and that means the Angora Resort Campground has been evacuated. There are also evacuations, we're told, of residences in the area. For a resident's perspective, we're joined by Brian Murphy on the telephone. Brian, thanks for being with us. What are you seeing?
Well, I'm looking out my front window and I see just a giant wall of orange and brown smoke, and it's turning black. The wind is shifting. Right now it's still, but it picks up and changes directions every few seconds. And just a minute ago it was like blowing right towards the house, and we're getting ready to get out of here.
So just how far are you from the fire?
I'm probably less than a mile from the fire. You can see North Upper Truckee kind of winds through this area that's just at the bottom of the Echo Summit that the helicopter pilot was talking about. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's like there's a big black spot in the middle of this whole area, and it's clear on one side and clear on the other, but we don't really know which way it's going to go. They've told us to get out, but we're like running around like crazy trying to collect pets and counting on neighbors to give us little rides and stuff.
When you say we're all scrambling around, is your family all right?
My family's okay. The 3 kids are up here. We're catching cats. The neighbors are catching their dogs, and everybody's trying to get out.
Have you ever seen anything like this before in your area?
No, not around here, no. Nothing this huge, this fast, and this scary so soon.
And it is huge and fast and scary, as you said. At the initial report, it was 50 plus acres, and now we're being told it's 350 acres. What are the winds like where you are, Brian?
They shift. They go to be, right now it's completely still, and now I can feel it starting to pick up again. And it's been gusty, like 30 or 40 mile an hour gusts at times. It's just picked up again. It's really fast right now all of a sudden, and it changes directions almost instantly.
And certainly for that reason, too, because things are changing quickly. Brian, we thank you for taking the time to share this information with us. What is your plan now?
We have a meetup spot off of Highway 50 in North Upper Truckee. We're going to get together with everybody and probably just sit it out till they let us come back. I got really nervous when he started to mention spot fires. We're being started by the cinders landing in places because it's really, I had to drive into town to get some stuff for the animals, and there was stuff falling from the sky. It was pretty spooky. One minute it'd be bright sunshine, the next minute dark as night, and very, very, almost like snow.
These pictures that we're looking like right now are just incredible. This plume of smoke is growing larger and blacker. What does it look like from where you are?
It's just a giant purple brown wall with little bits of sky coming through. It's changing. It was going over to the east, and now it's kind of at the west too. It's just like looking out at a big wall, but behind me it's clear as a bell.
Brian, are your neighbors hosing down their properties right now?
Most of my neighbors have the big metal roofs. Mm-hmm. A lot of the houses in the neighborhood are, vacation homes. There's 3 of us who are still here, and we're just getting ready to go. Okay,
Brian, we'll let you and your family go. Thank you very much for sharing this information with us. Take care and good luck.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Now, firefighters aren't just battling the flames, as we've been mentioning. They're also fighting very strong winds. KCRA 3 Weather Plus meteorologist Dirk Verdorn has more on the conditions now. Dirk?
Yeah, well, you heard the reports there. Winds basically coming from the south to southwest, and we have had some gusty winds. I've been looking at the observations, and anywhere from 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts, but we could even be having stronger gusts, especially as you get closer to the fire, because the fire actually can create its own winds just with that high level of heat billowing up in the atmosphere. So let's go ahead and take a look at current conditions. Again, temperature-wise, it's actually a cooler day than it was yesterday, with Lake Tahoe coming in at 65 degrees, but it's very, very dry. We're dealing with 13% humidity right now in South Lake Tahoe at the airport. Again, winds have been fairly strong and gusty at times. Right now, we're just seeing a southerly wind pretty steady at 10 miles per hour, but again, gusts between 20 to 30 miles per hour have been going on through the afternoon and will continue again with this situation. So let's go ahead and take a look at our time lapse that we've taken over the past hour of this fire, and you can see its location there on the south shore of Lake Tahoe. You can see the billowing smoke that's coming up. Now it's working its way again. If we have the southwest winds, that smoke is going to be blowing to the east and to the northeast, and so areas that are downwind of that, you're going to be dealing with the ash. And as you can see just those waves of ash coming across the south shore of Lake Tahoe, and this can be a concern. We're looking at areas tonight. As the temperatures drop, that smoke is going to actually settle down, and so we're looking at places like from South Lake Tahoe on to Minden and Gardnerville, I should say, that are going to be dealing with the ash and possible problems with smoke. So if you're not impacted by the fire itself, I would say stay inside and out of the smoke. So that's the latest situation there. Pam, turn it back over to you.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Let's recap once more. This is being called the Angora Fire, as it is burning near Angora Ridge. Officials are calling this a large wind-driven timber fire. When it was initially reported around the 2 o'clock hour, it was at 50 plus acres. It now stands at an astonishing 350 acres. It has just exploded. The winds are, as Dirk mentioned, extremely strong, and we're told that they're starting to blow the cinders past the head of the fire. So this fire is spreading extremely quickly. There are evacuations underway. 12 homes, or 12 structures, we're told, have been burned, and there is a campground. The Angora Resort Campground in the area has been evacuated mandatorily as well. We have a crew on the way to the fire. We will have more information as soon as it becomes available a little bit later in this newscast.